Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Jordan Tatum 3. So this is Jayson Tatum's third signature shoe with Jordan brand, and this shoe retails for 125 bucks, which is a pretty good price. The tech is actually pretty nice as well, but how does it perform? We're gonna find that out in today's video. If you guys do want to cop it, try to leave the free link in the description box, and if you do choose to get this shoe, it does help me out if you buy it through the free link in the description box or the product pictures underneath this video, or try to leave a link right over here. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. And also, a lot of you guys have been asking me about the socks that I've been wearing in all of my videos. It's actually my brand. It's called Young Hone, and it's available for pre-order right now. So if you order it right now, it'll take a couple of weeks to ship to you guys. And it is like an athleisure sock, so you can wear it casually. It looks pretty dang good. It's very, very comfortable. You can also work out in it because it does have a nice bit of padding, but it's not as thick as like a normal basketball sock. I wanted something a little bit thinner than that, you know what I mean? So of course, a full-fledged basketball sock, I'm in the process of designing that as well. So that'll be coming soon. But for the first sock that dropped, it's more like a blend of everything, right? So if you guys do want to get it, I'll try to leave a link to that in the description box as well. But yeah, let's get it started off with the traction. So we have like kind of like pods, you know what I mean? We have a translucent pod here in the forefoot and heel, and then this white rubber with the Jumpman logo here in the midfoot, and also a little bit of black rubber too, right? So how's the traction? The traction on a clean court is really, really nice, right? So when I was playing on a clean court, I had a solid bite, a nice loud high-pitched squeak as well. Not super loud, but it does get kind of loud if you're playing on a clean court, right? So I did like that as well. Of course, that has nothing to do with performance, but if you do like a nice squeak, this shoe has got it. But the Achilles heel for this shoe is dust, right? And this shoe picks up so much dust and picks it up really freaking fast. And also it's affected by dust a lot, right? So the one good thing, however, is that it's easy to wipe, right? So for example, like in the LeBron 22, I've been playing in that shoe. It's really hard to wipe off. You have to really get in there and wipe off all the dust for the LeBron 22. However, here in the Tatum 3, it's just an easy slight wipe and you're good to go, right? So I like that. However, you need to wipe a lot. Like I needed to wipe pretty much every single play, and then it would just pick up dust again, which kind of sucks. And also, if it does pick up dust, it's just sliding around a lot, you know? It's not dangerous, however, which is a good thing. It's not sliding out, and I didn't feel like unsafe. However, it was just a terrible stop, you know what I mean? And it was just affected by dust a lot. So yeah, if you're gonna be playing on a dusty court, then definitely stay away from the Tatum 3, right? If you're gonna be playing on a slightly dusty court, I feel like you should be fine, you know, especially if you keep up with your wipes. But if you're playing on like a moderately dusty court or really dusty court, do not get the Tatum 3s. I had a terrible time playing in this shoe on a dusty court. It was just so annoying. And usually I don't really mind wiping, you know what I mean? But it picked up dust really quickly, right? And if you're playing on an outdoor court, however, I feel like you should be okay. The grooves are pretty thick and deep. And also the rubber's pretty hard, so you should be fine on the outdoor court. But yeah, I mean, when I was playing on a clean court, again, I did kind of enjoy playing in the shoe, which we'll get into. But when I was playing on a dusty court, I really disliked it. So there's a traction there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, is freaking really smooth and very, very flexible, right? So here in the heel, we have a really nice rounded shape. It is very caged, but it's not really that clunky because you can feel your heel dig into the Cushlon, right? It is using Cushlon 3.0 for the foam, and for the actual underfoot cushion, you can feel your heel dig into the Cushlon, so it's not super clunky here in the heel, right? And then coming here into the forefoot, we have a nice rounded shape, but also a lot of flex, right? It's a super flexible shoe, which I do like, and it has a little bit of rebound back, but it's not super springy feeling, you know what I mean? And the torsion support is pretty good, so that's a good thing. So yeah, overall, it's a really smooth heel to toe transition, not very explosive, not very springy, which is not a good thing and also not a bad thing. It's just based on your personal preference, right? All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. So the cushioning setup also is not too good, right? So there's one aspect of the cushioning setup that I really dislike, which is the heel cushion, right? So when I was doing heel strikes, and not even like super hard heel strikes, even on like, you know, heel dominant strikes, like when I'm bringing the ball down the court and doing heel dominant strides, and I was kind of like hitting my heel kind of hard, my heel would hurt. And like I said, it is using full length Cushlon, and The court feel in this shoe is really good, right? So you feel really low to the ground, which I do like, of course. But I feel like it's just too soft for the cushion line, probably because, like I said, just doing heel dominant strides on the court kind of hard. My heel would dig into the cushion line and then also bottom it out and then hit the floor. And then I can feel my heel hit the floor and it would hurt. So the impact protection is not good for the heel. Of course, we do have a pretty large volumes unit here in the forefoot. It does feel nice, right? You have a nice little compression, nice little bounce. Not super bouncy, however. I would say it feels pretty similar to like a, like a PG1, the PG3. It has a nice little subtle bounce, which does feel nice. It's just a larger surface area than that Zoom unit, I feel like, right? So the forefoot's nice, and also if you're landing pretty hard in the forefoot, I didn't really have any issues with that. It's just the impact protection in the heel, right? The heel strikes and stuff like that. So that's like the major thing that I really didn't like, you know what I mean? Because it was pretty bad. Like it would hurt my heel. So that kind of sucks, you know what I mean? But I guess the other aspects about the cushioning setup is pretty nice. Like it has a little bit of bounce, step and comfort is nice, underfoot cushioning is pretty nice, and court feels really good. It's just not the best for heel strikes and impact protection. So there is a cushioning setup there. I wish it was a little bit thicker. Maybe make the heel a little bit higher up off the ground so I wouldn't feel that, right? But anyways, moving on to the upper. So as far as the quality goes and how it feels on foot, I really like it, right? But the issue lies in the support, which we'll get into. So it's using a combination of like textile materials and also a mesh here in the toe box, and this mesh is actually pretty dang soft. And we also have a pretty large part of the upper that is embroidered, which I do like. That's a pretty nice kind of like high quality touch to the upper, right? So it's a really like pretty dang thin material. It conforms to your foot extremely well. It doesn't feel glued down or stiff at all. It's just a really comfortable and also pretty high quality feeling material, right? I also really like the flower patterns on it. It looks pretty cool. On the bottom of the tongue, we have some mesh for extra added ventilation, a little bit of airflow. And then on top of the tongue, we have like a normal amount of padding. So it's not super cozy, but it feels kind of nice, right? It also says Deuce, which is his son's name, inside of the tongue for both of the shoes. And it's also half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit, which I also do like, right? Here in the ankle area, I would say it's around average for the padding, so it feels kind of cozy in the back of the shoe. It also has a little bit of mesh here for like the top of the lining here in the ankle collar area. So yeah, it's a really nice feeling material on foot, right? I really like it. It's just the support is terrible. It's a really not supported feeling shoe, which again we'll get into in support, right? And now moving on to the fit. So I went true to size and the shoe fits me overall pretty well, but there is a little bit of length, right? So when I got the shoe at first, it wasn't like that bad, but then I noticed it getting a little bit roomier because of this kind of like really soft textile slash mesh material, especially here in the forefoot. So yeah, this shoe definitely does get a lot roomier, especially here in the forefoot. So again, like when I first got it, it was a little bit more snug, so I didn't really mind the extra length. But then since it did get a lot roomier here in the toe box, I do notice the length a little bit more. So if you do want to go down half a size to compensate for that, then definitely do that. But if you want to be a little bit more on the safer side of things, go true to size, right? But I wish I went down half a size because I don't really like the combination of the roomy fit and a little bit of length, you know what I mean? And then for the width, I would say it's around normal width, right? So yeah, again, it's not the best fit for me, which kind of sucks. So the traction, not good. Cushion, not good. Doesn't really fit me too well either. I mean, again, like I liked it at first, but once I broke it in, not a huge fan of the fit, right? I want a really snug fit in my hoop shoes, and this just got a little bit roomy, right? And now moving on to the support in lockdown, which I think was a really big issue for me, right? And if it's a big issue for me, it's gonna be a huge issue for a lot of people because I'm not that heavy, you know? I'm a pretty small dude. I'm like 5'10" and not that heavy, right? So yeah, this upper is not supported at all. So for lateral containment, like my foot was not coming out of the footbed though, you know what I mean? Like for lateral counters, this shoe has got you covered. So this rubber part comes up acting as a sidewall here in the forefoot, here in the midfoot, and there also seems to be an internal TPU heel counter. So your foot's not really coming out of the footbed per se. However, because of the roomier fit, first of all, here in the toe box, it got roomier. And then look at how much this material kind of like moves, right? And it also kind of stretches when I'm playing too, especially with this mesh. So here in the toe box, it wasn't super supportive. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't good, you know? And then here in the midfoot too, it's just super thin and just not structurally supportive. You know what I mean? And then the worst part, however, is the ankle area. I thought it wasn't gonna be that big of an issue, but look at this. Like the entire, look at that. I can literally just, you know what I mean? There's no structural support to this upper at all, besides a little bit here in the heel. I feel like this heel counter is just really small. It's probably like this size right here. Just look at this. So because of that, like, holy, look at this. You know what I mean? It's not supportive really at all here in the heel. So I can feel my entire kind of like ankle and also my foot moving around inside of the shoe a lot. And like on lateral movements, not even like super hard ones either, just like kind of laterally just doing like a side step or a step back, doing a crossover, it just wasn't super responsive, you know what I mean? And then coupling that with a really bad traction on dust when I was playing on a dusty court, I just really dislike playing in the shoe. You know what I mean? Like when I was playing on a cleaner court or like an immaculate court and the traction was good, I didn't really mind the terrible support of the upper as much. You know what I mean? Again, like I did mind it, but it wasn't as bad, you know what I mean? So yeah, the support is terrible, you know what I mean? And lateral stability is okay. I didn't really have any issues with lateral instability, but the overall support of the upper is terrible. Surprisingly, I didn't really have any heel slippage. That probably has to do with the overall shoe being super like flexible, which of course is a good thing, but yeah, it's just not great for the support. They should have at least added a little bit more for the internal TPU heel kind of right over here. You know what I mean? Add some more plastic or make it way sturdier, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was really bad. And again, if it was an issue for me, like it's gonna be an issue for a lot of people. I don't know how Jayson Tatum's playing in the shoe. That's crazy, you know. Especially comparing it to the Tatum 2, which actually had pretty good support, you know. So there's that. Moving on to the weight of the shoe. So this shoe, I guess that's one good thing about the shoe. That's the weight. This shoe is extremely light and very minimal feeling, right? So it comes in at 11.35 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. It comes in at 11.3 ounces, right? So yeah, the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So it's a little bit more than an ounce lighter than average, which of course is a good thing, right? So the overall upper, super duper minimal, very, very thin, super comfortable, conforms to your foot extremely well. It has really good court feel, you're low to the ground, right? But is it responsive? No. I did not feel that quick when I was playing it. Even when I was playing on a really clean court with a really good traction, again, with the not so good support, I just didn't feel really quick and really responsive like I wanted to feel. Comparing it to shoes, I don't know, like the Sabrina 2, you know, the Big 3 5.0 Quake Pro, you know what I mean? So yeah, not the most responsive feeling shoe, right? And now moving on to the ventilation. Ventilation is really good though. You know, you have a good amount of airflow through this entire kind of like textile material, as well as like the mesh material underneath, like on the bottom part of the tongue. So the overall ventilation is good. And then moving on to the aesthetics, no. I mean, the other colorway that came out that's available on Nike.com right now, that looks actually really, really good. I like that, but the overall design and also this colorway, not a huge fan of. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics. And also durability wise, I don't think this shoe is going to last that long, right? This upper doesn't feel super durable since the overall, you know, structural kind of support of the shoe isn't that good either. I feel like this shoe is going to break down pretty quickly, right? So yeah, so wrapping things up. Yeah, don't get this shoe. I really did not like playing in the shoe, and it really surprised me at how much they kind of screwed up, in my personal opinion. Like, how does this shoe just not have a heel counter? Like, it literally starts like right here. You know what I mean? So I mean, for like lateral containment, that's all you kind of need, but then you need more support a little bit higher up, in my personal opinion. You know? So yeah, that's the biggest issue, the support, and then also the cushion, and also the traction, and also the fit wasn't that good for me. So yeah, I wouldn't really recommend you know, getting this shoe. I mean, if you want a really thin, very minimal feeling upper, yeah, no, actually no. Just don't get this shoe, right? So anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the Jordan Tatum 3. It definitely is a bummer, but yeah, it could have been nice, but it just wasn't for me. So anyways, that about concludes my performance review Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.